Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. After an incredibly abysmal opening weekend, it would seem that The Matrix Resurrections will be a one and done. This is courtesy of the producer. Now it's interesting because a lot of people have been going, yeah, no, it's doing great. It's going to be a classic. What are you talking about? It's doing great numbers. And, you know, I can kind of see why some people would think that because, you know, Dune opened to not the best reception. Well, a good reception, should I say, but not incredible finances. But it went on to make money. This has been quite startlingly bad. And I would say startling if not for the quality of the film, so it's not actually that much of a surprise. But The Matrix Resurrections hasn't even broken $70 million. It's doing very, very, very bad, very poorly. And it's interesting because the what was CEO, I don't know what she is at this point in time. She was like CEO of like Warner Media or Warner TV Media, etc. But Ann Sarnoff had come out in October and said, we will absolutely do more Matrix films the moment Lana wants us to. Which is always the case. We always get this big run up to movies release and, you know, you get executives talking it up. You know, and what better way to talk up a film by essentially solidifying its sequel before the film's even been released and had audience and critical reactions. Just to say, yeah, 100% we'll do way more. You know, it's an attempt to fulfill a prophecy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's an attempt to be anyway. I.e., we're going to talk this film up so much so that you'll go and watch it and you will think absolutely there's going to be a sequel. But it turns out that's not the case now. It turns out it's not the case at all, in fact. And like I say all the time, money talks, and the money has absolutely spoken in this instance. Incredibly so. And even, you know, for people that try to say that it's done good money, the producer here even actually makes a point of saying that it's not done very well, and that it is, of course, a financial decision. So I think this is really important to those people that are, you know, sort of skeptical of individuals like myself that say, hey, look, it's bombed. You know, because a lot of people go, no, it hasn't. No, it has. And the producer has even said, has all but said so. So let's take a look at this article. The original article is linked down below. So let's dive into it, right? The Matrix Resurrections producer James McTeague stated that there are currently no plans for any more Matrix films following The Matrix Resurrections' abysmal opening weekend box office. Not his words, but it was still abysmal. According to The Numbers, the film only grossed $12 million in its opening weekend, although since the film opened on a Wednesday, it grossed a total of $22.5 million in its 5-day opening. I mean, that tends to be what a lot of films do, is they'll open on you know, like a midweek, trying to sort of maximise that opening weekend box office numbers. But realistically, like, it's quite skewed. And it does make sense around the holiday periods because people are off, so why wouldn't they? But anyway, the global box office has raked in $44.2 million so far, and that means that the gross is $66.7 million. Not exactly that great, considering the film's reportedly budget of $190 million. I mean, that is staggeringly high for a film that, you know, essentially looks like a TV movie. Awfully white up in here. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. But a movie that, you know, looks like a TV film. The action is all up close to hide things away. It was just done very, very poorly. And to think that this film had $190 million spent on it is almost outrageous. Look at that! I fixed it. I fixed the light. But $190 million on that. I mean, that's atrocious. Where did the budget go? On caviar at lunch? Like what? You know, where did it go? Quail's eggs? Goodness me. Absolutely outrageous. Now, this article speculates that it would need to gross around $475 million to break even. Now, the reason, the way they've worked that out, right? The way they've worked that out, just for anyone that wants to know, is you take $190 million and then you take another $190 million, because generally speaking, the rule of thumb is you do equal production budget for your marketing budget. This one did actually have quite a large marketing budget. It would have inevitably had to. There was a lot of trailers, a lot of interview rounds, a lot of marketing push for this film. So that puts us at, what is that, 380. And then you need to start taking in the 50% of the ticket stubs into account as well. So obviously they distributors, cinemas, etc. have a percentage that they then have to take, and then that factors into it on top of that as well. So 470 odd million to start breaking even, yeah, is about right, and it's done woefully bad. Woefully bad. Now, aside from the film bombing at the box office, Samba TV, I've covered this already, but they reported that only 2.8 million households were watching the film on HBO Max. Not great. That's not great at all. Actually, really bad. Not great. Really not great. For comparison, Samba TV claimed that Dune was watched by 1.9 million households during its opening weekend. The film's opening weekend was 41 million. So less people, more people going out to watch it. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's gone on to earn 106.9 million domestic and a worldwide gross of nearly $400 million. And it had quite a tiny budget, actually. So, you know, it does make sense why Dune Part 2 was greenlit. But here's the interesting stuff, right? So following the film's abysmal weekend, the Matrix Resurrections producer James McTeague spoke to Collider, informing the outlet that there are no further plans for any more Matrix movies. He said, and I quote, "Look, for us, I think, at the moment, it's just the movie you've seen." Yeah, no shit. We've got no prequel in mind, we've got no sequel in mind, we've got no further trilogy. However, while he claims that there are no plans at the moment, he did indicate that there is the possibility for more, which they always do. They're always going to leave the door open because it's a money-making franchise, although that is now on the decline. He detailed, but I think the film also works where it's really open to audience interpretation, like what happened in those 60 years before they fished Neo out again, or Thomas Anderson to Neo. When Neo and Trinity are there at the end and they're talking with the analyst, what do they actually mean that they're going to go and change? So I think that it's out there, but it's not in our wheelhouse at the moment. I would not be surprised if this became like a TV, you know, HBO Max series or something like that. Not with Keanu Reeves, obviously, but a prequel with other individuals. I wouldn't be surprised. I genuinely wouldn't. I can imagine them doing something like that. HBO Max has done quite a lot of spin-offs at the moment, so I could imagine that. Now, McTeague also admitted that there's a financial component. This is the thing. So this just, you know, it backs up my points that this film was bombed, right? So he says that there's always the financial part of it. There's always the filmmakers who want to make the films, and there's always the studios or the streamers who have the money to facilitate that. So yeah, it's always a business equation as much as it's a creative equation. By basically saying, it didn't make any money, it's absolutely bombed. We can't risk making another one at this point in time. So, you know, to everyone saying, oh no, it's fine, like it's made money, it hasn't, it's not going to make any money. Is it tragic? Yeah, of course it is. I would have wanted this film to be good. This film never needed to exist, but all movies are just a business at the end of the day, especially for the studios. Not necessarily for the creatives involved, but for the studios for sure. But this film could have been good, yeah, in my eyes. Of course, other people like it, and I won't take that away from anyone. But yeah, it's a shame. It 100% is a shame. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear any and all of your thoughts down below. This video, coincidentally, was actually sponsored by my second channel, which you can find in the description box. Please do check it out. It's a vlog/car channel. You might like it. I've got some rare cars on there, JDM classics, along with a rally homologation car. Pretty cool, actually. So check it out. You might enjoy it, you might not, but worth a look anyway. Also, side note, please do follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. And I hope you all have a great and safe New Year's Eve. Cheers, guys. Take care.